Hi everyone. In this course, there are 5 principles to learn by. And I've made a little PowerPoint that goes over these particular lessons. So, need to put my glasses on. My contacts did me dirty this morning, so having to wear my glasses temporarily. So, first thing to do, okay. Let's call up my PowerPoint. Now, do my screen share. Screen share. You will become familiar over time as you watch my videos with the tunnel to infinity. Here it comes. Here we go. Now, the principles of English 101 through 102. First, good readers make good writers. This is a general rule. There may be exceptions to this rule. I have had students for whom the act of reading, the physical act of reading, was difficult because of a learning barrier such as dyslexia. But they had some really great ideas and they were able to back up those ideas with evidence. However, that 95% of the time, there is a definite correlation between reading and writing. So my question to you is why? Why do you suppose that might be? Why would the skill of reading and the skill of writing be correlated? Why do you suppose? Now for the second principle. Good readers and good writers are not born, they are made. Reading and writing are skills. They are not inborn talents. They are skills that people can develop over time. And if you say to yourself, I don't read well or I don't write well, that may be because over time you have not developed that skill. But the good news is that it's never too late. You can still spend the time and make yourself a better reader, which can lead to your being a better writer. So that brings another question that I want you to think about, which is how does someone become a better reader? How can you become a better reader? I'll give you a hint. Find things that you love. If you're a sports fan, then find magazines and books about sports. If you're a video game fan, find magazines and books about video games. Learn to link reading with something that you already love. Numbers 3 and 4, these are fairly basic. First, every choice you make contributes to the final outcome. Referencing my previous video on the discussion board. With the discussion board, I said you need to be sure that you do the discussion board week to week to week. If you decide, hey, it's only week 1, I don't have to worry about the board this week, I'll just answer that question in week 3. By the time week 3 gets here, I'll have time to answer 3 different questions. You make that decision, and it's probably not going to go as well as you thought. So every choice you make contributes to the outcome. And in this class, an online class, it's very important to be a self-starter. Attention to detail saves the day. That means looking at your syllabus. That means looking at your course schedule, knowing what you need to be doing and what you need to be thinking about from week to week to week. And then finally, principle number 5. The following 2 phrases are forbidden. This is not what I want to hear anybody say. The first is, oh, I'm not any good in English. The reason I don't like this phrase is because it negates principle number 2. Because if you say you're not any good in English, that means that you think it's something that happened to you. You think that, oh, the English fairy passed your cradle by and didn't fly down and tap you on the forehead and endow you with great English skills right there, right then and there. I'm not any good in English also implies, and there's nothing I can do about it. If you say this to yourself, this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. What you think you're not any good in, you're not going to be any good in. And I know how this works because I did this to myself with math. I told myself, oh, I'm just not any good at math. I'm not built that way. My mind isn't directed that way. And as a result, for the longest time, I didn't let myself be interested in it. I didn't let myself develop that skill. I did what I had to do to make decent grades, and that was all. As a result, I can't do anything without the help of a calculator. So when you tell yourself this, you're closing yourself off to opportunities to learn. And then the second one, I can't relate. This idea that if you're reading a story, or in our case, an essay, that is from a point of view or a perspective different from the one that you have or that you grew up with, then it's not connected to you. It's not important to you. It has nothing to do with you. This is a mistake. One of the things that reading does, one of the reasons why reading and writing are correlated skills, reading is meant to develop empathy. It's a way of seeing through the eyes of someone not like you. It's a way of experiencing the world through someone different from you. And if you are, oh, I can't relate. I can't relate to that. That essay was written 20 years ago. Or I can't relate to that. That essay was written by somebody from outside the US. Or I can't relate to that. That essay was written by a person who was 80 years old. You start with that, you're closing off opportunities to learn and to empathize with someone whose perspective you can learn from. So those are the 5 principles of English class. Specifically, the 5 principles of English 101 and 102. So we're going to be working with those principles and those ideas throughout the rest of the quarter. So this concludes my videos for week 1. When we get back together, so to speak, on week 2, then we're going to talk a little bit about the question, what makes a good essay? What does it mean to write well? What are the qualities of a good essay?